Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Three Idiots in a Room podcast.
There's a face!
I know! I can fucking see you!
Dude, I thought we were just non-corporeal, beings, just voices speaking over MS Paint image the whole time. We actually have physical bodies.
Yes, we do!
I have an actual piano next to me. I could play an actual tune.
Yes, you could. Let's hear an actual tune.
Welcome to the Three Idiots in a Room podcast.
Brilliance. Oh, how have you been? We haven't done one of these for a long time.
Yeah, it's when was the last episode I was in?
Let's find out, I guess.
Because it was early December, I feel like, right? Somewhere around there, maybe even earlier. Point is, I've been missing in action for a good couple of months, I had to run off the grid after killing 2 people, one of which being my parole officer. So you can understand why I had to lay low for a while.
Oh yeah, you had to get out of there, man. Let's see, your last episode was on December 6th last year.
Alright, yeah.
So, and then our last episode of this show came out on Inauguration Day. So,
yeah, with the riots and stuff.
Oh yeah, that was...
Which we will not bring up here, because we are not going to get political this time.
No, we've already done too many episodes of America's Fucked, so we're just going to move on from that.
Yes. So, how have you been, Chris? There's a lot to catch up on, just as us as people.
Yeah, I've been alright. I'm working at Wendy's, I think I told you, right?
Yeah, you mentioned that. How long have you been working there for?
I started in December, so about 3 months on the 15th, I think.
I think I might have mentioned that I was quitting my job at the grocery store around here.
Yes, you did mention that, yes.
Yeah, and so I was without a job for 2-3 weeks. I went back to Eau Claire and, enjoyed Christmas with the family and stuff. And,
right.
I saw you during that time.
Yeah, we filmed some stuff for a Christmas special that didn't happen. It's gonna happen this year, though. So
just you wait. Fucking God, that was fun. That was stupidly fun to film, though.
Yeah, it was fun.
You, me, and Will Hill hanging out and stuff. As far as what I'm doing now, though, in early January, I got a job at a TV station literally within 5 days. So I saw the job posting, sent out an application. They got back to me. I had the interview, and then they sent back in the job acceptance all within 5 days. So
that is really cool.
That was a pretty productive week. I was very fortunate with the timing of it, because the guy that I replaced, his name's Justin. I've met him before. So for context on this Justin guy, in freshman year of high school, me and this other student, Chase, we filmed a final project together for our freshman year of college. He was one of the actors in there, and it was a romance subplot or whatever. He was getting pretty cuddly with the female actress, even off the set. And she seemed okay with it. He was a pretty charismatic guy when, we talked to him.
Yeah.
Fast forward a week after that filming, Chase informs me that he has actually, Justin, has had numerous sexual assault charges against him throughout high school, and they stopped bringing it up because it just happened so often.
Oh.
So fast forward to now, he got a job at this TV station before me, and he was very political, very outward about his political beliefs, to the point where it annoyed coworkers and he was getting complaints from everyone. But what really culminated in him getting fired was when he, during New Year's, decided to go out and vandalize a few buildings downtown with anti-Trump sentiments.
Oh no.
And they decided to fire him right away because they didn't want him being tied to the news station.
Right.
that would suck if a rival news company came out and identified that he was working for them.
Oh yeah.
So
that's terrible.
Yeah. So the new year rolls around. I come back. I have I get a little depressed at first because I don't know what to do with life, but then I look at the job postings and I see, news station, and it was posted like 2 days ago. Shit, I'm really lucky I did. So I applied right away, because there had been a previous, TV station I could have worked at, but I applied for it too late, so I didn't want to make the same mistake this time.
Right.
Yeah, and I got the job now. I've been working there for almost 2 months now, which is kind of weird to think about that it's already been that long, but yeah.
Nice.
Been going pretty steady.
So what do you do there? Are you like a anchor, or do you work the cameras? Or...
Yeah, being an anchor would require a lot more training and stuff. That would be cool, but no, I'm a production assistant, which basically means doing most of the behind the scenes work. Currently, I know how to run the prompter and set up the actual studio, and I also know how to do something called VTR, which is I think it stands for video transfer something. Video transfer recording? Maybe. Anyways, basically I just make sure that all of the video that we have, that we cut to throughout the broadcast, is in its place, what order it's in, the audio's good and everything, so checking up on that before the show starts.
Right.
And currently, just yesterday actually, I had my first shift in training in on audio, which is, the actual audio board and finding out how all that works. Yeah. Nice. After that, I'll have to learn graphics, which is, making all the graphics that pop up on the screen, the little name cards and, stuff that we switch to, so that too.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's all that job entails. I'm not doing that all at once. We got like 5 people there on any given day, and the task is split up between us. But
yeah, kind of like a regular job.
Yeah, so just having stations you're trained in, and then swapping between them with the other people you're working with. So
right.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm learning a lot and getting experience within my field of study, so it's nice.
Cool. I'm really happy for you about that, because you're going to school for filming stuff. So
I was going to school for filming stuff. Yes.
Oh, you were?
I'm taking a gap semester right now.
Oh, cool.
Because last year, just in general, was not great for grades. So, especially with film, it's kind of weird to learn film techniques and stuff over this long distance learning. I don't know if I'm gonna go back, or at least, anytime soon. I might go back in another year or two, but right now I'm thinking I'm gonna stick with this job at the news station and see where that takes me. So
cool. I'm actually gonna be taking a gap year at the end of this year as well.
Nice.
Do some traveling.
Where are you thinking of going?
Well, right now I'm scheduled to fly out to California right after my graduation. And then after that, I've been thinking about going out to like Chicago, maybe Mount Rushmore, places like that, and then probably a trip of Europe, maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Sort of thinking
going literally everywhere, huh?
I've always been basically here. The most I've ever gotten out of this state was like for a week. So
really,
yeah, and that was at Disney World, and then we took like a 5-day Disney cruise, and that was pretty fun. But otherwise, like, I've been to Iowa, but that's usually for like a 3-day weekend kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've been to Minnesota a lot. Minnesota is basically Wisconsin plus. And then I've been to Tennessee and Kentucky. They're basically the same. And I went to California once last year, but that was like for 2 days, something like that. So
you've been around, but not really for long enough to
no.
gain much from it.
In fact, my longest vacations have been at Disney World. So take that for what it's worth. Though in Epcot, you can go to World Showcase and basically see a mini version of the world, if that's your thing.
Epcot?
Yeah, the World Showcase.
Really?
Yeah, they have like pavilions of different countries around the world. Is pretty cool.
Cool.
So technically, I've been to Canada, and Morocco, and China, and Japan, and all these.
Not actually, but technically.
So that's going to be what I'm doing after I'm done with high school, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Verina's my little sister. She's already set with an apartment and gonna head over to the Twin Cities in Minnesota for start going to the technical college there. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's I don't know. It's been interesting just watching everyone I know grow up. It's kind of weird, but
I mean,
it's just the process of life,
You and I have sort of watched each other grow up since freshman year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like you were a senior when I was in freshman year, and then we just really never stopped talking. So
yeah, which
is kind of nice. I see a lot of people just lose contact as soon as other people leave high school, and I'm like, I don't really like that idea.
There's definitely a lot of people I'd like to talk to more.
Yeah.
Mitch, surprisingly, being one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't keep in contact as much as you might think we do. Though, as I say that, we did record our own little podcast thing, I think 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I haven't uploaded that yet. I still have the files on my computer. I just gotta cut them up. But it's a little game we played. We played it before. It's called Tennis Ball. It's like an improv game. So the premise is that, you make up a story. One person comes up with the premise, and then they say tennis ball. And it's like, you're tossing the ball into the other person's court. And then they take it for a while. And then when they feel like giving it up, they say tennis ball. So it's like a back and forth,
Yeah. You know what that really reminds me of?
What?
Red ball, red ball.
What?
Do you remember that?
God, yeah, that theater, dude.
A bit of context on that. So we've talked before about how we were in plays together, and our director was kind of nuts. So one of the warm-up games she always made us play was where we would go red ball, red ball, red ball, red ball. And we would have to take the imaginary ball, throw it to someone, and then they would have to throw it to somebody else, and then we would have to add in more balls into the game, and it would just be torture because everybody hated it. You can confirm that, I'm sure.
It was meant to test the attention span or whatever, being able to juggle, but it was definitely annoying because it was something we always ran every rehearsal, and God, just end me now. Just smack my head against the ball and make it red,
A lot of the games she had us play were just like that, just tedious and hard. Not really hard, but just more annoying.
Tedious, I'd agree. Yeah. I get the premise behind it, being aware of, every detail, but there are different ways to apply that when you're on the stage. So.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So,
God.
I think it's time we go into the spinner wheel and see what we have to talk about.
The wheel of topics.
This is what we fall into every week, folks. We just we just don't talk about what we're going to talk about until like 5 minutes before we start, and then we just put everything on a wheel.
We are definitely prepared. We are the bare minimum amount of prepared that one needs to be.
Just like me in high school. I come with my backpack and, yeah, that's it. All right.
Spin it.
Spinny, spinny, spin. What a great sound. Well, look at that. It's your TV station job.
Ah, yes. So I got a job at a TV station or something.
All right, let's respin the wheel, I guess. We get to see that.
We're going to get something else that I talked about already, aren't we?
No, we got something else. Oh, I just love that musical score. All right, so our topic today is movies.
Movies! Who could have foreseen this one coming? It's almost like we talk about this every time.
Well, I feel like that's sort of a given because, you and I are both very passionate on movies. So
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So, let's start off the panel with you, see what you've seen.
Right. So it's been a long gap since, I last talked about movies. So forgive me if this is one I already talked about. I doubt it, though. I watched a movie with my roommate, Zach.
Right.
Well, more like my roommate, Zach, first watched the movie and then kept prodding me for 2 weeks to watch it myself. The movie's called Nocturnal Animals. And it's like a story within a story, but I'll explain. So there's this middle-aged woman who's an artist, and she's kind of struggling with her art as time's gone on, but she's trying to keep it up, and she gets this manuscript for a novel from her ex-husband, and we don't know anything about their relationship or their past, but the manuscript is like the story that's being told through the manuscript that she reads reflects stuff that happened in their actual relationship. And it's not obvious at first, but the more you watch it, the more you kind of, pick up on the details, and it's just a really good way of telling a story. I thought it's both plots are compelling, and yeah. I can't go too far into it without getting into spoiler territory, but
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah. The novel is like a thriller plot, and then the actual plot's like more of a drama, and it's an interesting combination between the two. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a movie in a long time.
Oh boy.
Like a new movie. I did see one like last month that was really good. It's called News of the World. I don't know if you've heard of it.
News of the World? I don't believe I have, no.
It's with Tom Hanks, and it takes place like 5 years after the Civil War, and he goes around reading like the newspapers to towns that can't get news.
Okay, that's cool.
And it, like, when the movie started, it was a really interesting premise to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting, because I didn't even know the movie existed. I just sort of picked it and walked into the theater. So it's going this way, and then there's a scene where he's riding through the woods and he sees like this burnt up wagon or whatever, and he goes over and checks it out, and there's like a little girl who's just stranded there, and then because it was post-Civil War times, the black guy who was driving the carriage was strung up, so the little girl was just left there. So he takes the girl, and he brings her down to Texas, because apparently her family lives there. She was raised by Indians, so she doesn't really speak much English or anything, so he has to teach her all this. And, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so this is sort of a little side quest, and he's going to go down there and bring her back, and then it's just going to get back to the story. Nope. They run with it the whole time. The Indians don't notice her. So now this, this little girl is, going along with Tom Hanks while he's trying to read the news to everybody, and then, there's this uncomfortable scene where, they're being followed by sex traffickers who want to take her,
Oh.
And then there's like this whole shootout, and I'm sitting there thinking, what? Like, why is this going on? Even for Civil War times, why would they just? I don't know. It was just very weird. It was an overall good movie, like great cinematography, great music, but at the same time, it was just really weird. Not probably something to see again. So
fair enough. I do want to ask. This is still related to the topic of movies. How much did you pay for the ticket to see that one?
$12.
$12. Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. The fact that movie price tickets have just gone astronomically high since the pandemic has started. So me, Zach, and like 3 of our friends were gonna go to see this new movie that, the trailer for it looked really good. And so we wanted to see it, and it was releasing in theaters. Zach gets the order set up, and it's $89 for everyone to get into the movie. So I was like, that is not okay. So I looked it up online, and I found out it's actually also releasing on HBO Max. And that's only a $12 a month subscription. And there's like so many shows on HBO Max that I want to see anyways. It's like, what? Why not just get that instead? So he cancels the ticket order, and we just all watch it in our apartment instead. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there. So the movie was bad anyways. It did not hold up like the trailer did. So it was a good thing we dodged that bullet. But
what movie was it?
I didn't even bother writing it down, if I'm being honest, so I forget what the title is.
Was it Judas and the Black Messiah? Because I know that one is...
No, it came out more like January. It was like a detective film, and The Little Things, that's what it's called.
We were gonna watch that on HBO Max, but we didn't because we had just seen Russell Crowe movie called Unhinged, and it's where he's going around. He's like following this girl who flipped him off at a red light or something, and he's basically just making her day a living hell, like killing her relatives.
I remember seeing a trailer for that. I thought that was a ridiculous amount of anger being that. Yeah. Anyways.
So yeah, we decided not to watch that, because the other movie was so heavy, so we just watched Groundhog Day because we did watch it on the 2nd.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So I'm glad that we dodged that bullet too.
Yeah, so I'm just sitting there, though, like after the movie, talking with Zach, and we're like, what's going to be the point of movie theaters in a few years from now, right? Like, we got all these streaming services that they're just going to release the films on anyways, that are cheaper than the tickets to get into the movie are, and it's like, there's so much more you can get with that monthly subscription. I don't know, man. Movie theaters are a dying business. We're probably going to be, like, sounding really old when we talk about going to a movie theater in, like, 20 or 30 years from now.
Honestly, I think that's a very good observation, but also, like, I think movie theaters are very important for things like superhero movies, because if it's released on a streaming service, then there's a greater chance that there are going to be spoilers put out, because, like, with WandaVision and The Mandalorian, I was spoiled to parts of the plot, like, have you seen the last episode of The Mandalorian?
I do not watch The Mandalorian, nor do I watch WandaVision. I don't have Disney Plus in general, so.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I spoil it then?
I don't care. Yeah, go ahead.
Spoilers to anyone who has not seen the last episode of The Mandalorian, but who hasn't besides this nerd at this point. So anyway, we were just gonna watch that episode, like, that day, and I'm on my phone, and I see a thumbnail for a video, like, Mandalorian Episode 9 Ending Explained, and on the fucking thumbnail, Luke Skywalker. And
Oh,
no. I basically just shut off my phone, and as we're watching the episode, I'm like, no, Luke Skywalker couldn't have come in. He couldn't have, you know, this is supposed to be like alternate timelines, sequels, you know, it all retcons everything. And then the final fucking 5 minutes of the episode happened, and in jumps Lukey Skywalker, you know, and he's like killing all the fucking robots and shit, and I'm like, fuck, dude, fuck. So, yeah, that was not enjoyable.
alright. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's more of a fault of, like, YouTube, though, and stuff like that, you know?
I
Because
totally get that.
there's also a level of, like, you know, you watch enough of a certain, you know, like, for example, this game I've been playing recently called Amori. It's a psychological horror game, but it's like, it doesn't look like it if you were to look at the trailers or whatever. It
Yeah.
looks like a kid's game or whatever, but it's got a lot of deep shit underneath. So, you know, I watched one video for Amori on YouTube, and
Yeah.
then suddenly it starts recommending me all this other shit that's like, oh shit, no, that's gonna be spoilers. So I immediately stop searching for Amori and keep being like, not interested in watching this, not interested in watching, because, like, you know, you look at one, it starts giving you a whole bunch. So that's not an issue on the side of, like, streaming services. That's just an issue on the side of YouTube in general.
Right. And, you know, I know, like, streaming services aren't putting out these spoilers because, like, if Disney Plus put out WandaVision spoilers before the next episode, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, it just makes it more accessible for people to get the footage, whereas with a movie theater, you would have to sneak in, like, a camera or something.
That's true. Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, people can really make a one-day turnaround on analysis videos with all that shit. So.
Yeah. Like, I remember when Avengers Endgame came out, like, people had final battle, you know, reactions just hours after the movie came out, and I had to block myself from YouTube for, like, a few days before we got to see it. But I am kind of excited because the Marvel movies that are coming out this year are only going to be released in theaters.
Oh, nice.
So,
which ones are coming out this year, anyways?
Here, let's take a look-see at that, because I know Black Widow is coming out and Spider-Man No Way Home is coming out.
No Way Home? They're already making the third one?
Yep.
Huh, I didn't know that.
I think Doctor Strange 2 is coming out as well.
Nice.
Let's see. So the ones that are coming out this year in the MCU are Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi, and The Legend of the Ten Rings, and then Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay.
And it looks like Venom 2 is going to come out this year, but that's...
Yeah, that's DC. Or, no, not... That's the Sony. The Sony, yeah.
And then this month, Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out, and I'm going to see that one.
Okay.
That's going to be like a 4-hour director's cut. So I'm
Dang.
very excited.
Pretty long, yeah.
You know, honestly, I like longer movies better than I like shorter movies because I like being engrossed in, you know, a world that's not reality for longer than 90 minutes.
There's a, I found on Hulu what is probably the longest movie you can find on Hulu. And it is called 1900 Extended Cut. and it is 5 hours and 17 minutes long.
Here, I'm looking that up. I have Hulu as well.
Yeah, it's 1900, just like the year. So I've been meaning to find a day to sit down and watch that, because I agree, longer movies can be better, especially if they take the necessary time to do what they need to do. But
yeah, 5 hours and 16 minutes. Oh my god.
yeah, that's the longest one I've seen on Hulu. There might be a longer one, but like I'd be baffled if there was.
And get this, the fucking theatrical cut is 4 hours and 5 minutes.
So that's still really long. Like
Here, now I'm interested. I wanna see this. Longest movies ever made.
oh god, you're gonna go down a rabbit hole looking at that. Honestly, the longest one I've seen is, or the longest one I've heard of for runtime is like a literal year or something. They played it once at a big theater, and it was just because the frames they shot it at such a high frame rate that everything that was going on was happening so slowly. So,
Right. Let's see here. As of 2019, the longest movie is Amara Etica Cinema Bambino, or the Innocents, at 21 hours. So that's long. So yeah, a lot of these are like 5 hours. Napoleon is 5 hours and 32 minutes. I know.
I feel there's got to be like a realistic maximum length you can have on a movie, right? Because I feel like you can't just because a movie's expected to be one sitting. It's not like you can stop in the middle and then come back to it. You could, but it's not meant to be watched that way. It's meant to be one uninterrupted experience. So
Right. Like, go ahead.
there's got to be like a maximum length. 5 hours seems like a good maximum, but I feel like there could also be an argument for maybe like a 6-hour film.
I know Jesus of Nazareth, a friend of mine watched that. That's over 6 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it looks like the longest film, like experimental film ever made, was Logistics in 2012 at 51,420 minutes, or 857 hours, and that translates to 35 days and 17 hours.
Yeah, like, who wants to watch that?
Oh yeah,
Why would you film that? Other than to just be like, oh yes, I filmed the longest movie in existence. There's no point.
Wow.
Like,
I
who's
know,
gonna sit there in the theater, spending a month just living in the theater to experience this? Do you know how trippy that would be? I feel like that's the experiment of this film. Seeing who stays to watch it. God.
I know one of my favorite movies, Barry Lyndon, was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And
the longest film I think I've watched is The Seven Samurai.
Oh, that's pretty long, yeah.
Yeah, 4.5 hours, I think, roughly. So, they even had an intermission in the movie. I think most longer movies have intermissions at some point in them, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a movie I want to make called The Secret Life of Beethoven, and right now I have it structured in 4 acts. So the first 2 acts will be like an hour long. And then there's an intermission, and after that, the second one is like an hour and a half long. Then the last section is like 25 minutes.
So the first 2 acts are both an hour?
Yeah, so that's 2 hours, 15-minute intermission, and then add that to
like almost 4 hours then.
Yeah, plus like 10 minutes of credits, so that's about 4 hours, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I can do that, and get away with it. especially if I put in an intermission. Like when I went to see It Chapter 2, that was like a 4-hour movie, no intermission.
Really? That one's 4 hours.
Yeah, I think so. And then same thing with Avengers Endgame. That was a 3-hour movie, no intermission.
Yeah.
You know,
I think intermissions help, but
there were actually jokes when that was coming out, like the people in the movie were saying, "Put your popcorn bucket under your seat."
God damn it! There's probably people. There's people that did that too, right?
Of course,
how big those theaters were. How many people watched that film? There's got to be a few lunatics that actually pissed in the theater. Like, God.
I'm sure there are people who just piss in the theater, like, naturally.
Well, especially now, the theaters are fucking empty. You buy a ticket, you're probably the only one watching that film. You can piss wherever you want.
You could piss in somebody's eye if you really wanted to.
I watched a movie. I watched Tenet back like a few months ago. And like me and Zach were the only people there in the theater. Mm-hmm. Halfway through the film, Zach just leaves because he's disinterested in it. So I'm just left there alone with an empty theater the whole time.
That reminds me of when we saw The Spy Who Dumped Me. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and like there's a scene in that movie where I think Kate McKinnon is getting beat up by like this Russian spy girl, and there were two people sitting behind us, and one of them says, "Fucking eat a sandwich," or something like that, and we all just started laughing. It was really funny because we were like the only ones in the theater. That was funny.
I think now is a good time to talk about today's sponsor, Cocktail Peanuts.
Cocktail
snack. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what makes them different from regular peanuts, other than that they're just called cocktail. But
their flavor has no difference between a regular Planters peanuts and a peanut that you would just buy at the store. It's just a peanut with cocktail on it.
Hold on. What's up, Zach?
Do you work tomorrow?
No. Why?
No? Yeah, I'm making sandwiches tomorrow, so I just want to know how much I need to buy. You want to eat some?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, yep, that's it. Yep, see ya, bye.
So I couldn't hear you for a bit, because my speaker's also hooked up to my phone. So it was just the ringing of the phone, so I had to answer it.
That's alright.
Apologies, I didn't hear what you said for the last, 10 seconds of that.
I was just talking about the cocktail peanuts, how there's really no difference.
Yeah. Cocktail peanuts and sandwiches.
So, go to cocktailpeanuts.com and type in the code I don't give a shit.
Let me find the actual... Do they have a website? The company is called Southern Grove. Probably find a website for that.
Probably, yeah. So go to that website, type in the discount code Big Cocks in My Ass, and we'll send you no peanuts because we aren't sponsored.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear, we are not sponsored by these people.
Hashtag not sponsored.
If they somehow find this later on, we don't... Yeah. Anyways. Alright.
Actually, continuing on the topic of movies, I'm going to be seeing the new Tom and Jerry movie tonight.
Really?
Yeah, with Doug.
Yeah, with the one that's animated within actual...
Yeah.
It's like the Roger Rabbit kind of style, yeah?
Yeah.
Animation over actual film,
yeah. Yeah. I'm actually kind of excited to see it because if the theater's empty, which I'm hoping it will be, we can just heckle the shit out of it. Excuse me. Because, I don't think it looks good. I mean, you're ruining Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is awesome. And you already ruined it with, all those fucking direct-to-DVD movies. So, yeah, I don't think they need to ruin it anymore. So we're just gonna go see it so we can fucking heckle the shit out of it.
I feel like I really feel like theaters are just a new experience altogether.
I think so.
You pay for really good seating and a really big space to just shout out your obscenities about the film you're watching. I feel like that needs to be a new experience. That sounds like something only rich people would get, and now everyday people can just go ahead and do that in the comfort of their own hometown, their home theater.
Jesus Christ.
It's a wonderful time we live in. Where we can shout swears at the theater and no one will be there to hear us.
Alright. Should we move on to a new topic?
Yeah. That
Alright.
took a good amount of time.
Alright, let's spinny the wheel again, shall we?
Yeah.
Alright, our topic for the next however long we want to talk about it is school. And since you're taking a gap semester, I think I will talk a little bit about this. Alright, so school for me is going like fucking shit, basically.
Alright. Oh, getting straight to it, huh?
Yeah, my job at Wendy's is keeping me up until like 3 or 4 in the morning every time I work a closing shift, because they keep telling us they want us to get out earlier and earlier every night, but then they add like 10 more cleaning tasks for us to do. So we're always there, you know, trying to work fast and get all our shit done, but then they're like, oh, well, we need you to do this, and we need you to do that, and blah, 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 blah. So that's fucking shit. I'm probably going to quit there soon, because, like, I know I can go somewhere else and get, you know, better pay probably, and just get a better, you know, experience. But what that's doing is making me sleep all day, and when I actually go to school, like, there's half the day gone, so I'm only getting half of that work in, you know? And even when I'm doing that work, I am not fucking motivated. So what I end up doing is just, like, putting something on YouTube and, you know, watching that, and I don't end up doing anything. So right now, my grades are sitting at a C in Psych, a F in English, a F in Cartoon Animation, and an F in Astronomy. So, yeah.
That's just... You're really holding the L's on all categories. Shit, man.
So...
I mean, I don't mean to make it a joke, but yeah.
No, it's kind of funny to me. Because, like, you know, they just expect us to do so much. You know, my astronomy teacher, did you have Miss Pearson?
Yes.
Yes, you did. So you know that she gives, like, an ungodly amount of work, right?
Well, I didn't think it was ungodly at the time, but maybe that was just because senior year for me was a lot lighter. So.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways.
What's weird is everyone talks about how light senior year always is, but this year with COVID, you know, it seems like there's just so much more to do and a lot less time to do it. You know? Because the online thing is working out for almost nobody. Which, you know, is sort of obvious because a lot of people are stupid, including me. So they actually need that person in front of the class, you know, teaching. So that's not very helpful. And then the other thing, too, is that when we're actually in person, the teachers that are teaching us aren't teaching us well. So, for instance, my English teacher, she is a lot more interested in talking about what we're doing wrong than actually giving us work time so we can correct those mistakes. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem. And then Miss Pearson, she is very enamored with the whole thing of the Mars rover. So basically that's all she ever talks about in the beginning of class, and that's interesting, but then when she gets into like her shit about constellations and stuff like that, it's like, okay, you know, I'm not absorbing any of this because you've been talking so animatedly about you know, the shit you want to talk about, but when you get into the actual curriculum, it's like you're not talking like you actually want to talk about it. So that's my big problem
That
there.
is the big thing with her. She wants to push a lot more about the current events than the actual foundational knowledge you need to kind of understand the current events. So
Right.
it's an ironic way of trying to teach, and
Yeah.
she could put more focus on the actual concepts.
Totally. And then in English class, we have to do the capstone, the all-important capstone. It's like the pinnacle of your school years.
Yeah, dude, I hippity hopped my way out of doing a capstone.
How did you do that?
Because I had the equivalent of a capstone in junior year when I took AP Lit instead of AP Lang, like everyone does junior year.
Mhm.
And then senior year, I took AP Lang. So my final for English was watching a bunch of movies and analyzing them, which is actually really helpful for, the thing that I needed to do in college.
You should have fucking done that.
Yeah,
Jesus.
AP Lang with Nelson was fun, especially towards the end, because she shifted it towards an analyzing. I think it was to help those kids get into the mindset of analyzing story subject, which is what AP Lit is all about. But for me, it was just like, I'm gonna be doing this anyways, so.
Right. So for my capstone, what I decided to do, since I can't just hippity hop my way out of it like you did, what I decided to do was stereotypes in film. So my 4 essays are going to be on, one is on gay representation in film and how, like, straights are seen as a higher class, or even lesbians are. And then the second one is going to be on, like, racist propaganda in movies. The third one is on, like, the rating system, and then the last one is on nudity in movies and how feminism is, becoming more of a thing.
So for capstone projects, do you have to have, like, this amount of diversity within, like, a vaguer topic, or?
That's basically what, my teacher told me. Because, like, all of these other people that I've talked to have done their capstones on people. So I wanted to do mine on Stanley Kubrick because obviously he's my favorite director. And she's like, no, we can't do them on people. We have to do it on, like, larger topics and stuff. So, like, that kind of pissed me off because I had this whole topic already, in mind, and I already started writing things for it. But, oh well, I guess I have to start all over now. So, that's about it for me with school.
Okay. Yeah, and then there's me.
You're
Gap
taking
semester.
Gap semester.
The lack of school, I think, is interesting to talk about, because now I'm at a point where all I have left is work and
Right.
whatever else I choose to fill time with.
Like this.
Yes, like this. I don't know, it's interesting. I wasn't expecting to get to this point in life this soon, I guess. And given my plans for the future, probably gonna drop out, so I'm here for a while now. It's interesting. Yeah, I have a lot more free time. I don't know, I feel like I have a lot more responsibility over what I need to do, which leads me to spend less time on the computer and stuff.
Right.
It's weird. You'd think, and I think it's still true for some people that, in adulthood they still spend a lot of their free time on the computer or YouTube or whatever, but for me, I feel differently, because I did it so much growing up. It just feels like more of a lackluster pastime now, so.
Right.
Or less productive. I don't know. I just feel like I could always be doing more. So.
Exactly. And I totally get that, Like, I think I spent a lot more of my time on YouTube in the last 2 days than I have in at least a month. Because my parents have been out of town.
Yeah.
So So I've had the house to myself, and I've just been, doing what I want to do. I've been, going out and just getting food and coming back and then making a fucking pig of myself, I guess.
Yeah, I had an equivalent of that during the pandemic, which I think is also why I'm not yearning to do that again.
Yeah.
There was... I've probably talked about it before on here, but I just remember there was a point in, late March, early April where I was just sitting at my kitchen computer for like 10 hours every day, and it came to a point where like my legs struggled to hold me up when I stood up again, because like they didn't expect that I would get up at all that day.
Right.
And just that thought of, yeah, so I don't want to do that again. I think that's also a motivating factor.
Yeah. One of my biggest problems was because, I've told you about like the whole Zach issue before. My biggest problem with that was, not even a month after that happened, we were put into quarantine. So I had no one to talk to really, in person at least. And, I was just out in space really, since my parents were always gone. And I didn't have any idea what I was supposed to do with school and whatnot. So I was just always going out, getting food, and just watching TV and eating. And I just started stress eating a lot. And I'm sure a lot of people did too during this pandemic.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad that, it seems like everything's coming towards an end for the pandemic here. I know that they've been lifting restrictions over here in the North Dakota side of things a lot.
Yeah. Which is
obviously, it's a less populated state and everything, so less cases overall, but we're already really vaccinated too, and Minnesota's still closed down, but things are getting better over there too, and
right.
Yeah, I think slowly it's getting back to better.
I don't think anything will ever be truly normal again, but better is a good word.
Yeah.
Alright, should we spin the wheel one last time? See what comes up?
Yeah, and then talk about it for like 7 minutes. Let's go.
Alright, spinny, spinny, spin. It didn't spin right.
What do you mean? Did it like hit a blank?
It did, yeah. Alright.
We could have just talked about the little sliver in between the two topics. We could have talked about that. It's a completely valid topic. What do you mean?
Alright, our final topic for today is the very recent actually, controversy of the Dr. Seuss books.
Honestly, I just heard that they're removing the books. I don't actually know what's in those books or many more of the details, but that sounds... Because that was announced like on his birthday, wasn't it?
I think so.
When is his birthday? Dr. Seuss's birthday. Yeah, March 2nd. It was announced yesterday on his birthday.
Holy shit!
That they're censoring some of his books, or like removing them completely from circulation.
Damn.
What? That's just massive disrespect, yo. Like, wait at least till the day after, or maybe, the day he died.
Let's see. The books that are not going to be published anymore are And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McElliot's Pool, Ambient Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and The Cat's Quizzer.
Have you read any of those?
Yes, I've read all of these.
Really?
Yeah, I used to have like almost every single Dr. Seuss book when I was a kid. So, honestly, I know there are racist, depictions in these, but compared to other things that I've seen, I don't think they're that bad. Like, the thing I always have to realize when I'm looking at these is it was a completely different time. Like, I also see people bring up the Disney cartoons with Nazi propaganda and such, but that was made at a time when, like, you know, we were trying to make fun of them because that was the only way we could find any laughter during fucking World War II. So, it was a fucking different time. People had different depictions of people, and we can't just stop, you know, looking at it. I'm glad something's being done about it, but at the same time, we can't just stop looking at it because that sort of erases history.
Yeah, it's not like they're censoring the books outright. There's still those books in circulation. You could get your hands on one if you really wanted to, and I'm sure there's going to be, you know, libraries or stuff that still preserve the literature. So it's not like
right.
But yeah, I guess that's still an interesting take on it.
Yeah, because, you know, we have those Walt Disney Treasures collections with, like, all the old cartoons, and a lot of those DVDs.
Yeah, and you got Song of the South on there.
Yeah, we actually have Song of the South on DVD. Like, we had to get it from Japan or something like that, where they actually still have it in circulation. But, like, on all those, they have little messages from, like, Leonard Maltin before the, you know, shorts actually start, saying, you know, these depictions were wrong then and wrong today, and, you know, rather than sweep them under the rug, as, you know, he says, we have to preserve them so we can, you know, not repeat the same mistakes. So,
yeah,
that's kind of my thought, you know. Like, there's this great Looney Tunes cartoon called The Ductators, and it's a complete mockery of, you know, Hitler and Mussolini and Hirohito, and I think it's one of the funniest cartoons ever, you know, honestly. Even though there are definitely racial depictions that are not good today. Like,
yeah.
There's a duck that comes out with, you know, the buck teeth, and he's singing, like, mock Japanese, and it's like, no. But at the same time, it's funny in its own weird 1940s-esque way.
Yeah, I get that there's a different, you know, and there's definitely racial humor in modern day as well, you know.
Yeah. I just feel like, you know, we're sort of losing our sense of humor as a collective society, you know, because cancel culture is a real thing.
Can't believe they canceled Dr. Seuss on his goddamn birthday. Well, at risk of getting too political here, I'd say we could wrap up here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to end up. We don't want to make another America's Fucked episode.
Yeah, I didn't even listen to that one. I'm gonna be honest. Should I? Should I dare?
Honestly, like, it didn't go as well as I thought because the other people that were in that one kind of just kept changing the subject. Okay. I thought it was going to be, based on the conversations we were having before, I thought it was going to be a like full hour or so of just talking about that issue, you know. But it turned into, like, we were making paperclip chains and shit, so it didn't really go as well as I had originally thought it would. But,
well,
you know, what you gonna do?
Alright, well,
I guess this has been another classic episode of The Idiots in a Room.
Yeah, 3 idiots in a room. Except there are 2, like there usually are. I don't know why we just don't rename it at this point. Maybe because it's funnier every time. Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know why. Oh, this is one last little thing I forgot to mention at the start of this episode. Mom found out about this channel.
Bruh. Delete.
I basically had to spend a whole weekend convincing her that I do this to cope with my mental health, and she finally said, alright, you can do it, just, like, no swearing and shit. And I'm like, okay, and then I just kept doing it.
You're
out
18
there.
now.
I know, that's the thing.
You should be able to do whatever the hell you want to do. Why?
The best part about it was it wasn't even her that found it. My fucking aunt sent video of me smoking, like doing a vape for about 16 seconds. Like that's like the only time I used a vape on camera, and I put it up because I thought it was funny. And then she fucking sent it to mom and like half the family saying, "Look at what Chris is doing. Look at what Chris is doing. Blah blah blah." Fuck, dude. So that was a fun day.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're done here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching this episode, because this is the first.
Yeah, actually watching, because now we got us here.
Yeah, our
Beautiful
physical bodies.
Yes.
Right.
Should I play an outro tune or?
Sure.
Alright.
Yes, we're going to hear the musical stylings of Nicky V.
That's DJ Nifty Nick to you.
DJ Nifty Nick. Alright. DJ Nifty Nick on. Saying goodbye to everybody. I've been Chris Janke. You've been...
First, last Nameson.
Obviously, the greatest first last Nameson of all the first last.
And we'll see you next time.
Yes, and remember, I don't know.